Well, I'm back and welcoming you back. Greetings today, beautiful day, to Revolutionary Mindset, And this is a YouTube channel. Originally, I was inspired by the idea that to change yourself is to change the world. And I've been listening to a lot of Jordan Peterson lately. He talks about, the first thing to do is to clean your room, get your house in order. Because it's like, how are you going to expect to change the United States of America and make America a greater nation when you can't even make your own house where it's supposed to be? A lot of times we think of things as being changing out there and then eventually it'll make its way back in, when it's like, no, it's the opposite. Let us start here within, because you have control over that automatically, and everything will work its way out around us. Stick around to the end of the video. I have a special announcement to make. Peace for me and you. And that doesn't make sense now, but just hold up, okay? My last video I made, it was why I left the church. And I felt a special need to share this because it meant so much to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, faith meant so much to me. The Christian faith meant so much to me. And so for me to go through the process of becoming an apostate, leaving the church, leaving the faith, it was hard. But I feel like what I gained from that was so much more strength and fortitude, happiness, joy. I mean, since leaving the church, I have had such a revelation of joy. Joy, like, and I want to make a whole video on joy, because I just feel like joy is not something we talk about a lot, but that's for another thing. I was just thinking about faith in general, because it's crazy, because a lot of my really close friends actually have all walked away from the faith. And it's crazy, because we've all kind of done it simultaneously. You know what I mean? But we all are able to come together and talk about it on our own journeys, and some have came back sooner, and I still have one friend who still refuses, to go to church or to be associated in any way, shape, or form. And so I wanted to talk about this today. And it's like, I explain it like this, and this is one of my rebuttals to Christianity, okay? I think we can be safe to say that Jesus, along with many other teachers, okay? Many other spiritual teachers, hate is bad. We don't fuck with hate, okay? Pride is bad. We preach against pride. War, no good. We don't do war. Let's just stick with those three. Easy, okay? And many of our spiritual teachers, including Jesus, preached what? Much of the opposite. Instead of war, he would preach peace. Instead of pride, he would preach humility. Instead of hate and bitterness and resentment, he would preach love and forgiveness, okay? Now, what happens when you say, I'm a Christian, okay? Well, in our Western culture and context, what you do is you say, I am Christian. You are not. You draw a line in the sand and you say, this is us and you are them. We are we and you are you. And you're not a part of what I do and I'm not a part of what you do. Now, of course, you think I know the right way, so everyone should come do the things that I do life the way that I do it. And what does that do when you draw that line in the sand? It causes division automatically. And there's so much division everywhere. We see it in our politics today. Crazy shit happening on the news. Crazy politics dividing us, dividing the country, dividing families. Yo, one of my good friends, his mom, okay, and her brother texted her the other day, was telling me this, and said, if you're not willing to take a stand against Donald Trump and outwardly refuse and outwardly protest, then I'm not going to spend time with you. And I mean, honestly, I found myself in the same place. And when I walked away from Christianity, I was like, dude, I want nothing to do with these people. And if you believe that, I don't even want to be around you. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these things are so closely tied to our identity, it's hard to detach ourselves from them. But back to my point, which is that as soon as you draw the line, you say, I am this. Now, I'm not saying that you can't stand for anything and that you can't have an identity. Hear me out. That's what I'm saying. Is that, we're all kind of in circles. And Christianity is a big circle. And this is the main idea right here, okay? It's actually healthy. It's actually important. It's actually necessary in order to have unity, to have people that deviate from the original structure, from the original culture. And this is why. Christianity is like a circle, okay? Okay, it's a circle. And we draw a line in the sand, or we draw a line around a circle, a little box, a little square, a little building, and say you're not allowed in our circle. Our circle's inside the building, inside the square, okay? There's no unity that can happen. But what happens when someone gets out of that, and they break out of that circle, they break out of that square, okay? They form a little semicircle breaching outwards. Now, what happens many times is we go out, right? But we never make our way back in. And so that's why I found it so interesting. Many of my friends have found their way, including me in a way, found my way back to the church. Now, what is important about this is that when you have this circle, maybe a few circles, right? You're able to branch out towards other networks of people who are also breaching out of their circle. So what happens is you form a semicircle, another circle connecting all the other circles that are reaching out from the other circles, bigger circles of culture, and you're creating a subculture of unity. Now, what happens at that point? Okay, that's many times when people form their own organization, and what happens? The same exact thing that you hate. Circles forming around boxes, solid structures of buildings, and only welcoming people that are like them, like-minded, and that forms. But no, what is it? We continue this circling outward, connecting with the group as unity and whole, and circling, connecting back. And what happens? Eventually, people see the life that's created when you have unity. When you have people that are different sex, different genders, different cultures, but yet we find a way to put aside our differences, putting aside what's dividing us, and connecting to what unites us. That is what's powerful, When it comes to peace, this is what I was going to say earlier about peace. I feel like in this life we don't really get a chance to experience peace. There's so much war and there's so much violence and rest. We don't really get to experience rest. I feel like no matter how much I sleep, I'm still tired. I feel like no matter how much, I rest, I'm still like, and I think that's just a part of this world that we're in, and there's lessons that we need to learn through it through this experience. And so I wrote a song called Peace for Me and You. And, I really feel like though we may not be able to experience it in this life in its fullness, having it externally is not as important as having it internally. You know what I'm saying? So having this peace inside of our souls. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. You ready for the joy? I've got joy like an ocean. I've got joy like an ocean. I've got joy like an ocean in my soul. I've got joy like an ocean. I've got joy like an ocean. I've got joy like an ocean in my soul. Peace in my soul. Golly. And that's what I'm saying. And I feel like in this life, if we learn to fortify these things in our soul, we take it with us wherever we go in our next life. Life is circular, and back to the circles. It's like it's time to start opening our circles, widening our circles. Why do we feel like we have to stay bound by one culture, by one race, by one ideology, by one mindset? Who made the rule that you can't adhere to, follow, be instructed by, learn from, gain wisdom from other religions, cultures? Who's to say you can't go? Okay, this is too. Check this out. In the story of the prodigal son, okay? Many times we look at the prodigal son and we say, oh, we kind of rebuke him for going out and, using all of his inheritance. And, when he comes back is when they have a party, right? And his father's waiting for him to come back, right? Like I talked about before, many of us have gone out, not many of us have come back. Some of us will come back, not all of us will come back. But coming back around is so important, especially in a cyclical world like we find ourselves in. Metachaos, all it's connected. And so what you see is you actually see the father rebuking the son that never left home. The son that never doubted. See, doubt is actually something that is so important, okay? Because what doubt does is doubt illuminates, it sheds light upon the fact and the structural breakdown of our dualistic nature, the third dimension. That's what it does. When you say, oh, I doubt that this can, how did Jesus walk on water? Oh, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? When we doubt, it gives an opportunity for the real truth to come forward. And it's like this, truth is true, okay? You can do whatever you want to do to defend your truth all you want, but it's when you actually challenge your truth and beat it from every single direction and you find out what's left, that's true. That hardest, most solid point, that is what's true. And you see the father actually throwing a party when his son comes back. Why? Because he's happy that he's back. He rebuked the son that stayed at home. I'm not telling you to stay in your culture. I'm not telling you to go and leave from your culture. I'm saying if you have questions that you need answered, if you want unity, challenge the system, challenge your culture, challenge your status quo. It's not for everybody. I'm saying this is a mission for certain people, and I have found that within my circle of friends, this is almost all of us. So if you're watching this video, it's probably you today. Don't be afraid to walk outside of the circle. Don't be afraid to reject. Just know, love, unity, peace. That's what we're striving for. That's what we're searching for. That's what we need to be anchored in. And that's what unity is all about. Thank you for watching the video today. Hope you appreciate it. Oh, and by the way, Peace for Me and You, that song, it's going to be dropping. It's not the song I just randomly sang. I just randomly sang it. But I'm going to be dropping a video called Peace for Me and You, of a song I wrote. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, this is a revolutionary mindset, realizing that, to change the world, we have to change ourselves, and to be the change we want to see in the world. The great Muhammad Gandhi done said it. So thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Peace, love, joy.